Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at the New England Patriots and determining whether or not I think they should trade for wide receiver Julio Jones. But before getting to that topic, question for those of you viewing. What do you think Julio Jones is still worth when it comes to trade value? Is he worth a first rounder, second rounder, third rounder, so on, whatever it is, comment it down below. But getting straight into it, I made several other videos on Julio Jones being traded to other teams, but now it's came out that the Patriots have internal talks about trading for Julio Jones, and Julio Jones actually prefers to be traded to the Patriots to play with Cam Newton. So that's some pretty big news that kind of changes the odds of where he goes. You know, the Patriots are open to it and talking about it, and Julio Jones prefers it. And you'd think the good relationship Julio Jones and the Falcons have over his entire career, they might hook him up and trade him to a place that he wants. Obviously, it all depends on the price. Are they going to get a fair price for Julio? That is a factor, but I do think they will be open to, helping Julio out. He's always done good by them. They should do good by him as well. But my answer whether or not the Patriots should do it is the same for every other video I've done. Yes. I mean, is there really any team in the NFL that wouldn't be better off with Julio Jones on their team besides the Falcons, I guess? I mean, every single team in the NFL would improve if you add Julio Jones to their team. I mean, when healthy, Julio Jones is arguably still a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. And if you get a top 5 player at any position, your team is going to be much better off. My only concern is the Patriots right now. I feel like Julio Jones will obviously make this team better, of course. But whether or not they make the playoffs isn't going to really be determined by Julio. It's going to be determined by the quarterback play. Cam Newton or Mac Jones, whoever they want to start, I assume it'll be Cam Newton, should be able to make the current Patriots team a playoff team. You know, they don't have the greatest receivers in Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, N'Keal Harry, but they got Jonnu Smith added, they got Hunter Henry added, they have a good O-line. The backfield isn't the best when it comes to, power back, pushing the pile, but we know Patriots have never been like that. They work well with the James Whites and Sony Michels, and they just have a different play at the run game, and their defense is stacked to the nines, in my opinion. They got Matt Judon they added. They drafted Christian Barmore. They added Devon Godshaw, Jalen Mills, Stephon Gilmore's coming back. They have Dante Hightower. They signed Kyle Van Noy, Devin McCourty, and it's all being coached by Bill Belichick. Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia was brought in. It's very well coached, and it's a great roster on paper. Really, this Patriots team, like I said, it should be a playoff team, but it's all on the shoulders of Cam Newton or the quarterback. I'm just assuming it's going to be Cam. Can he get him there? But Julio Jones, of course, he would help them, but I'm just saying it's not like Julio's really... I feel like Julio's just not like, oh, now they're Super Bowl team. This should already be a great team, but they definitely could use him. I mean, just for the two sides to kind of, have incentive to want to go towards each other. I don't know why Julio wants to play for Cam Newton, but that's his own personal reasons. This is not what the video is about, why he wants to go there, but he does, it seems like. And if he's for fair price and I'm the Patriots, I don't know why I wouldn't make a call. Your receiving core has some weapons, especially with the double tight end threat and Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, but it doesn't have a Julio Jones, a top 5 wide receiver. Just with Julio Jones, you could all of a sudden make a fight at the division. That's where he could come into play. That's where the difference maker can be in Julio. You got a Patriots team that already could win anywhere from 9 to 11 wins, in my opinion. But with the Julio Jones, can they get 12 to 13 and, fight the Bills for the division win? Who knows? It all depends on Cam, though. And to me, looking at this Patriots receiving core, it's already going to be much better. If it might be one of the better ones in the NFL if they got Julio Jones. And I know that's bold to say, but last year, Patriots, their number 1, number 2 options were guys like Jacoby Myers and N'Keal Harry. Now this year, they would all of a sudden be number 4 and number 5 options and just a receiving room, or 6 and 7 options as the entire receiving core if you consider the tight ends, because before N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers, you kind of have Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, that's 2, Julio Jones, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, and then you get into N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers, and I get the ranking, you could change it however you want, but still, when N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers, I think they're decent receivers, but not as number 1 and number 2 options, but when they're, the 4th, 5th, 6th best option on the depth chart, that shows you have a pretty well-rounded receiving core that has star power at the top and depth at the bottom, and that is what the Patriots need right now. Cam Newton needs some reliable guys. He needs some consistency that he can rely on if you're going to try and get the best out of Cam Newton and try to get Cam Newton to get you to a playoff team. To me, like I said, the obvious answer is yes, I think they should trade for him, but of course it also depends on the cost. Are the Falcons going to be stubborn and demand a first-round pick? If that's the case, then I would say no. But if he's for a decent value, they're just asking for day 2 picks, a second rounder, third rounder, fourth rounder, fifth rounder, or maybe a package of second, third, and sixth, or whatever the package is. If it's a reasonable cost, Patriots, why would you not do it? Why wouldn't you want to fight for the division? Why would you not want to invest in Cam Newton? Of course, also money would be an issue as well, not just the cost in trading for Julio Jones, but the cost in affording Julio Jones. We know how much Bill Belichick spent this offseason, but I believe the numbers work out to where Julio Jones, if they traded for him in 2021, or if they traded for him in 2021, he would cost $15 million a year, but in 2022 and 2023, he would only cost $11 million a year. And just to put that in perspective, Nelson Aguilar, he's making $11 million a year. So if him and Julio Jones are making the same amount, clearly one's getting a cheap deal, and the Patriots are getting a heck of a deal signing Julio Jones to the same amount of money as Nelson Aguilar, because there are several tiers of difference between how special those wide receivers are by far. So they could be getting them on a cheap deal, and long term, maybe if Mac Jones turns around, you have a quarterback that has a star receiver over the next 2 years. This Patriots team could be very lethal very soon if they could figure out the quarterback problem. I just don't see the downside in trading for Julio. Of course, money is one and what he would cost in a trade, but if you could work those things out, as long as he's healthy, and I get he's staying up there in age, but Bill Belichick might be able to get the absolute best out of Julio that we might not have ever seen before. I mean, I know Julio's top-tier guy, but he's never had a coach like Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels and Matt Patricia, and he's had good quarterbacks and good coaches as well, Kyle Shanahan, Matt Ryan, but you guys know what I mean. Bill Belichick, he's just a different breed. I'd love to see it. I'm not a Patriots fan, so this probably wouldn't be my number one spot to see him go to biasedly, but unbiasedly, it's still a good move. I'm not going to hate the Patriots for doing it. That is what's best for the team. I think it's a good move for anyone that gets Julio Jones if it's at the right cost. Wherever he goes, whether it be the Patriots, Titans, Ravens, Chargers, Colts, 49ers, whatever it is, they're making a smart move. Someone should make a move for Julio Jones. The Falcons, they don't seem to want him, so someone needs to go out there and get him. Again, just thinking of an offense with Nelson Aguilar, Julio Jones, Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Cam Newton, a good O-line, a great defense, all well coached by Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Excuse me. This is, again, a Patriots playoff team that could make a deep playoff run. I don't want to say they're Super Bowl contenders by any means, but Bill Belichick, once he gets to the postseason, it's anyone's game, and Bill Belichick is a coach I would not want to face in the postseason, no matter who's on that roster. If Bill Belichick got there, he is not a team I want to face, like I said again. But, of course, at the end of the day, we'll just have to see what happens, who's the highest bidder. Are the Patriots actually interested? Is it just rumors? Julio Jones maybe he'll be persuaded by a Derrick Henry who's trying to recruit him, or an A.J. Brown's trying to recruit him, or DeAndre Hopkins is trying to recruit him, or if a Charger's trying to recruit him. Things could change. It's really early on. I don't expect the trade to happen for another week or so until June 1st comes around, so it benefits the Falcons the most. But right now, Patriots could be the front runners, and I understand why from their perspective. Again, I don't get why Julio wants to play with Cam Newton, but I'm not going to question it. It is what it is. I think this could be a serious playoff team with or without Julio, but with Julio, maybe this might be a serious playoff team in the fact that they could actually get a playoff win. Who knows? I think the Patriots should definitely make the move, or at the bare minimum, make a phone call. If he's going for first rounders, like I said, don't take it up, but make a phone call and see at least what he costs. Is he going to cost a first rounder? You don't know right now. Make the phone call and see. Is he only going to cost us a second or a third, or second and third? That's a reasonable price for a Hall of Fame type of receiver who's still got a decent amount of gas left in the tank. But as always, guys, let me know what you think. Do you think Julio Jones should go to the New England Patriots? And what do you think he's worth? First rounder, second rounder, third rounder, fourth rounder, whatever I said, whatever you think, and so on and so forth. As always, guys, and of course, thank you for watching. 2-minute warning.